This is how weird it's been. I've been playing Doom the Dark Ages and then going outside in sunny, beautiful days into parks like this. But let's talk about Doom the Dark Ages. Yeah, it's been a little bit strange to be playing such a dark and demonic game like Doom the Dark Ages right now, I gotta tell you. It is such an action-packed, balls-out, just rage-fueled shot of adrenaline playing this freaking game. It's crazy. I've been playing it on the PS5 Pro. When you turn the system on and you unpause, you often are in the middle of the craziest freaking battle you can imagine. Demons everywhere, giant spider creatures coming to slice your head off. You've got little wraith-like creatures that are trying to whip you. You've got giant beasts that have blades on their hands trying to slice you in half, and all kinds of goons with shields and stuff that are coming after you, and you're just in the middle of it all, and you can't help but laugh. It's insane. And that's Doom. That's how wonderful Doom is and always has been, and I'm happy to report that Doom the Dark Ages really honors the feel and the vibe of Doom in a beautiful way. If you've been a longtime fan, if you've played them all the way along like I have, it feels like you're coming home a bit, but it also has a lot of brand new systems and mechanics in the play of it that make this feel very different. And so let's set this up. This is a prequel to the 2016 Doom, which was excellent, and Doom Eternal, which was the sequel to Doom, which was also excellent. This goes back in time, and it sort of lifts on some of the stuff that they were doing with the DLC for Doom Eternal called the Ancient Gods. We get to see this Slayer, the Doom Slayer, being utilized by this kingdom, which is a great sort of mixture of technology and sort of medieval imagery, fighting back the hordes of demons that are coming to destroy their land. And so they employ this Slayer who is a little bit chained to the job and a little bit mindless, and they throw him out into the battlefield, and he is just doing you're doing a killer job. You're just doing amazing stuff, battling the forces of evil and destroying all kinds of demons. And what they've done is they've mixed in some medieval thinking with the gameplay, so a shield becomes an incredibly important part of your arsenal. And you have the shield right from the get-go in the game, and you use it obviously to block shots from the demons and attacks from, people are flailing arms and things like that at you, and you can sort of time them and parry them back, which is awesome. But you can also use it as an offensive weapon, just like Captain America, except this has little saw blades on it, and so it'll cut demons in half. And it's so freaking fun to hurl it at the bad guys and then use your parry moves and then chuck the shield and watch the devastation happen with this sort of beautiful kind of 1-2 punch. So you're always shooting, you always have your regular sort of weaponry arsenal, shotguns and plasma rifles and rocket launchers and grenade launchers, the beautiful sort of candy store of death that you always get with a Doom game. You get that again, but now this shield becomes this essential ingredient, and it's really fun to kind of push characters back or parry them, and they fall back and they're a little bit stunned, and then you blast their heads off with a shotgun, and you get into this beautiful rhythm where you're doing that. Of course, you're also finding the ingredients that work best for you. Do you like shooting them with rail guns? Do you like shooting them with machine type guns? Do you like to bounce off of them first and then chuck the shield and see if it sticks in them and spins, the blades spin, and then you can go swirl around them and keep blasting them by pivoting to a plasma rifle or something? I opted for the energy weapons. I really enjoyed the feel of them, and of course you can level everything up in this game as well, and it's just really fun to become kind of OP and dole out the damage in this game in some beautiful, over-the-top, very satisfying ways. So you got the shield, and you've got your arsenal of different projectile weapons, and you keep escalating and improving and tweaking, and there's surprises all the way. There's some really devastating ones later on, as there always is in Doom, and I'm not going to spoil any of that. And then you've also got some other extended elements in the gameplay where you can jump onto the back of a dragon and you can fly around. It's a little bit like, you get a little Star Fox mode or something for a bit, where you're having to fly through the buildings in the caves, and you're chasing down flying enemies, and sometimes you're destroying ships and stuff. But I have to say, the gameplay of flying around on the dragon was not quite as satisfying as I hoped it would be when I saw some of the stuff in the trailers. It's fun, but it's kind of like you're taking a break from the meat and potatoes core action of Doom, the Dark Ages. So I enjoyed jumping on the dragon, but I never felt like, oh man, this is the coolest thing ever. We've played much better flying sequences in lots of other games before. And similarly, I would have to say, you also jump into a giant mech in the game, and although they're beautiful, they're really well rendered and they're cool, and they've got great punching abilities and some projectile powers as well that you employ. It's almost like you're in Rock'em Sock'em Robots Super Punch-Out Edition. Actually reminded me of Rita's Rewind, the Power Rangers game, because you jump into the big mech in that game as well, and you're also punching the bad guys. Although this is obviously much more beautiful and all 3D rendered and gorgeous lighting and all that stuff. But again, I didn't feel like the mech sequences were anywhere near as fun as just running around and shooting at people and using the shield in both defensive and offensive ways. I had way more fun on foot just doing the core mechanics, and a big part of the joy of the on foot gameplay is that there's also a lot of exploration. There are a lot of secrets. You find little toys, you're finding gold all over the place. The golds you can spend on all kinds of cool power-ups. There's skins that you're finding, there's codex sheets that you're finding, and it's really rife. And honestly, these environments that you get to explore are so intricately detailed, they're gorgeous. There's lots of really cool things to kind of just examine. There's cool weather effects happening. Rain will be pelting down. The clouds in the back look super ominous. You're going through kingdom type levels and castles and things. You're going through mountain ranges and caves. You're going into parks. You're going into the pits of hell, and you're seeing just blood red stuff and skulls all over the place and mutilated bodies everywhere. And you're activating elevators and finding keys and key cards, you know, all the stuff that we have seen and done and played in Doom for years and years, and the stuff that we love. And each of the levels is really intelligently outfitted with all kinds of cool layers. The map is also excellent in this game, and the map also tells you where a lot of the secrets are, at least on the difficulty setting that I played through. And I beat the game, but I didn't go back and play it on other difficulties, and that's going to be a big key with this game here. This is one of those types of games, just like the previous two Dooms are, that you replay because you can get better and you can get faster and you can challenge yourself and you can dig deeper into the intricacies. Now, I played it at the second level of difficulty, which was fine for me. I didn't find it overly difficult to get through, but I didn't find it a cakewalk either. I did die sometimes, but I wasn't frustrated by the deaths. The deaths felt like they were my fault, and they were sort of up to where I was as the player with it, because I wanted to see the game too. I wanted to see the levels and earn everything and unlock everything. So I didn't want to just be playing the same level over and over and over again. I would say if you're going to play this and you're a pretty good player, and you play a lot of stuff, I'd say probably go the step higher on the difficulty if I were you, and challenge yourself a little bit more and take your time with it. Because again, you know, I reviewed this thing and I played it over about 3 or 4 days, like full days. I was playing a lot of Doom, the Dark Ages. You know, that was the only thing I was playing. I was playing a couple of other things. I put everything else on hold and I just went heads down into Doom. But there's lots of sort of fiddling that you can do on the difficulty. You can adjust all kinds of stuff. There's sliders everywhere in this game, which is pretty cool. They wanted to tune it, and I think the move from id was they wanted players to see the whole of it. And I've loved this escape, just like I love Doom and I love Doom Eternal. It's been really freaking fun to get lost in this game. I don't know if I love it, though, more than Doom or Doom Eternal. I don't know if it's like an escalation, and I think a big part of it was my expectation that I was really going to love the dragon stuff and the mech stuff, and I thought they were just okay. The ending is awesome. The bad guy, Prince Azrak, that you fight and see popping through the story. Honestly, the story bits are amazing in this game. That you can really see the film or the film series around this modern Doom re-experience kind of coming to life. You know, you could really see some kind of external Doom creations out there, whether they're comic books or a show or an animated series or whatever. There's a lot of thought and a lot of care put into the storytelling, and it's a lot of fun to meet these characters. It's just a really beautiful recipe that id Software has been working on here for a long time, and it really does work. But I didn't feel like this was like, whoa, I've never played a Doom experience better than this thing before. I still love Doom Eternal. I still love Doom from 2016. The great thing is that they're all slightly different experiences. There's a lot that binds them together and is familiar across them, but the shield gameplay really changes things up when you play Doom the Dark Ages, and it's really, really fun. It really makes me miss a Captain America experience. I really want a Captain America type game. I also felt as I was playing Doom the Eternal and I had all this medieval imagery around me and the shield and the crazy deaths and executions that you can pull off with all these demons and stuff. It honestly reminded me a lot of the God of War franchise, the David Jaffe era. There's a lot of puzzles like that as well, where you're kicking boxes and then you can clamber up and go and find some secrets and things like that. It really kind of evoked that. It also made me think of Metroid experiences, a lot of retraversal and circuitous level design, and you're kind of having to explore everywhere to find everything, and it becomes this really addictive and satisfying loop to be that collector and find everything. You get rated on all of that stuff on each of the different chapters, and you can go and replay them to your heart's content. You can change the difficulty settings as you want. I think this is going to be one of those treats for speedrunners out there. I think you're going to want to replay a lot of these levels and challenge yourself, and you're going to want to crank that music. Now, the other thing is that Bethesda and id shot me a premium edition of the game, and I often get these for review codes, which is really kind. Thank you to all the publishers, and thank you Bethesda and id. And I usually do dig into this sort of premium edition elements a little bit, look at the art books and listen to music and stuff. This time I did that as well. This premium edition art book is incredible. There are video sequences that sort of just take you through the worlds, but the thing lights up with the awesome hard rockin' music that is in Doom the Dark Ages, and just so propulsive and in your face, and then you're looking through all of the character art and the level design art and all that. Incredible. So if you've been hankering for this game, if you're a Doom super fan and you can't wait to get your mitts on this thing, I don't often recommend that you go and spend the extra money unless you really, really love that stuff. But this premium edition and the digital art stuff that they offer with it, pretty freaking cool. I gotta tell you, this whole thing, pretty freaking cool. Yes, I'm a bit bummed out that I didn't like the dragon stuff and the mech stuff a little bit more than I did. They're fine. They're just not as good as the core experience. I really enjoyed my time with this game. It is a hell of a lot of fun. Emphasis on the hell. I'm going to give Doom the Dark Ages a 9 out of 10.